Hello, I am so sorry. I don't know whether anyone is going to get this or not. I swear, just when I think I've got technology figured out, I don't. Or technology makes a boo-boo. I'm going to keep talking and see if anyone shows up. My name is Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds on the ketogenic diet and how others might be able to lose weight, improve their health, and regain control of their lives. And maybe they can even figure out how to do a live stream without a mistake. Oh, look. Hello. People are showing up. Thank you so much. Hi from Russia. Irina, hello. Sorry for that. The topic, I don't know whether that came through or not. I tried several times to get this to go, and I'm about 10 minutes behind schedule. Food is the easy part when it comes to the ketogenic diet. And I mean that. We try to make it complicated. And I just did a Facebook Live on that. So if you saw that, you maybe don't need to listen to this one. But I think we try to make it complicated for several reasons. One is because we've been told diets fail. There's all this complicated biochemistry and physiology that goes in, and we must adhere to certain percentages and grams and And because we've been given such poor advice over the decades, it seems like nothing has worked. But instead of us thinking the advice was faulty, we thought we were faulty. Another reason is because if it's this simple, and I mean simple, keep your carbohydrate intake 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. If it's that simple, you mean it's been around this whole time and I could have saved myself 5, 10, 30, 35, 40 years of being overweight and sad? Yes. So I'm going to quickly look at some of the comments because hello from Bryson City, North Carolina. Good to see you. Hello. And I want to thank, not only do I want to thank patrons who show up, thank you, because patrons who contribute to my page over at patreon.com have made it possible for me to give up my day job so I can talk to people and try to share my experiences with as many people as possible. But I want to thank people who on YouTube maybe are not patrons, but they participate in Super Chat. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. So the simplicity of it really takes some people by surprise. It really is that simple. All I can do is talk to you about my experience and my understanding of how and why this works. For those of you who don't know, I started this when I was 55 years old and had been very overweight, perfectly round for 30 years. I don't have the ability to do screen share right now. But if you go to my blog, you can see some of my before photos. There aren't many that exist because if any of you know before photos, we don't want our photos taken when we don't feel well about ourselves. So the few that I could scrounge up, I have posted. I was perfectly round for 30 years and I'd given up on losing weight. I just didn't want to. I knew I was going to eventually be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I didn't want to take insulin for that. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes, and it turns out if you reduce your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, which for those of you who don't know, and of course, we're not born knowing how many grams of carbohydrate are in anything, but a quick, easy way to remember is if you limit your vegetable intake, because when we follow this protocol, most of our carbs are going to come from vegetables. By the way, there's no fruit on the protocol. A little tiny bit of berries, low glycemic berries like strawberries and blueberries and things, but very limited. No fruit because it's just sugar. But if you limit your vegetable intake, maximum, to about a cup or about the size of your fist of non-starchy vegetables and about 2 cups of leafy greens a day, maximum, not minimum. That'll do you. The rest is fat, and the fat that comes with the protein. And the protein can be meat, beef, pork, poultry with the skin, sausage, bacon, lamb, ostrich, bison, alligator, whatever, seafood, fish, oily fish. It's pretty much animal products. Eggs, dairy, full fat dairy if you can tolerate dairy, if you like dairy, not unlimited. And that's it. Somebody said, "Hi, young lady." Well, thank you. I assume you're talking to me, but I ain't young. I'm 60. Hey, Ellie, it has been a long time. Simon Love asks, "Hi, Casey, how long did it take you to not feel the horrible cravings?" Almost no time at all. And many people will say that. People who have been convinced. I mean, when I say no time at all, well, a week. But I didn't play around. I didn't ease into this. I heard keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. And I said, well, 0 is fewer than 20. I can do that. So the next time I ate, I just left off the carbs. I thoroughly enjoyed my meals, which would have been comprised of anything from cheese omelets with breakfast links or bacon to ribeyes dipped in blue cheese dressing to cheeseburgers without the bun with a smear of mayonnaise to crustless pizzas. I don't even bother trying to make a crust. Take a sil pad or parchment paper, sprinkle shredded mozzarella cheese, put down some pepperonis, a little bit more mozzarella cheese, sprinkle some Italian seasonings into the broiler for 90 seconds, and you're done. Now just eat that. Hey, Irina, 17 months on keto. Very good. But many people with whom I speak, and I do speak with a lot of people, I hear from a lot of people, say they'll say, I thought I was never going to be able to give up Kit Kat bars or gummy bears or red velvet cake or chips. I thought I would not be able to go without tortilla chips. I actually told myself that. I can't go without tortilla chips. And I couldn't until I did. And now I don't even, no, not interested. When we go to our favorite Mexican restaurant, they could bring me a basket of rocks. And I could not have less interest in eating than if they brought me a basket of tortilla chips. Actually, we just tell them to take the tortilla chips away. And we go ahead and make our order and say, leave off the rice, leave off the beans, bring me extra guacamole. Hey, Little Red. Been keto 9 months strict, just had blood work done. A1C was 5.4. I really thought it would be lower. I'm down 45 pounds with 10 to go. 5.4 is golden. Golden. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Crustless pizza is addictive, writes Zane. Can be. Here's the thing. We can follow for those of you who don't know, I have posted on my blog, kcdurango.com, a one page of the food list I followed. There are many incarnations of the food list, but you don't even need a list. It's fatty sources of protein, some dairy, if you can tolerate it, eggs, and non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens. That's pretty much it. But it can be on the list and we can still overeat it. Ultimately, calories or fuel counts. Our body has energy needs and we take in fuel. If we take in the amount of fuel our body needs for energy, we won't lose weight. If we take in more, we might put on weight. If we allow our body to burn the fuel that's sitting on top of us, we can lose body fat. The difference with the ketogenic diet is it will naturally reduce your appetite and your hunger. But there can be, for some people, some foods that they mimic foods to which we were not, I don't want to use the word addicted, but that we really liked a lot. For me, Total transparency here. Mashed cauliflower. I have to regiment myself to small portions because given my own devices, even though it's perfectly allowed, cauliflower is allowed, I'll overeat it because it just triggers something in me about mashed potatoes. Now, I'm in charge of what I put in my mouth, but that's something that I could mindlessly overeat. Not many things on the ketogenic diet can you mindlessly overeat. Difficult to mindlessly overeat boiled eggs or ribeye. Anywho, so I'm going to try to get to some questions. Casey, how many total carbs max on a packet of sausage am I to look for? We don't like the herb sausages. You know, sausages have very few carbs. The ones I get, I think Johnsonville. Are you talking about breakfast links? Just look on the package, just whatever it is. You know, some sausages and some will they'll use a lot like maple syrup or brown sugar. So I just look at the package, and if it's more carbs than I want to take, I'm just mindful of it. So just look at the package. I don't do net carbs, never did. I follow 20 total grams of carbohydrate a day or fewer. And some days I'm kind of at zero. Hey, carnivore mama, how much coffee do you drink a day? How much heavy cream is allowed? On the list I followed, 2 tablespoons a day, max. So I have about 3 cups of coffee a day, usually, sometimes less. And I measure 2 teaspoons per cup. So if I have 3, that's 6 teaspoons, that's 2 tablespoons. Zane writes, I feel so full I can barely eat dinner. So don't eat dinner. You know, I mean, yes, we get so full. Don't eat if you're not hungry. I hear this a lot. I'm really concerned because, hey, Judy, there's a patron. I'm concerned because I'm eating so little. This can't be good for me. Think about this. Think about how we've been conditioned. I'm afraid I'm eating so little it can't be good for me. I'm not eating because I'm not hungry. That can't be good for me. But we will go to, a chain restaurant or a buffet and get served mammoth portions. And we think that is okay. What's not okay? And I did it, man. I used to love going to those places. Of course, most of the food was beige. But don't eat if you're not hungry. Eat if you are hungry. I kind of like the feeling of emptiness and lightness. And I'll stay the same level of emptiness and lightness until I kind of tip over, and then it's time to eat. And I do. I can have the first food I put in my mouth almost upon rising, not usually. Sometimes the first time I eat is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and some days I eat very little. Some days I eat more because every day is not the same. We need to listen to our bodies. Sandra Bullock, what about constipation on keto? Okay, here's the deal. Some of us feel like we are constipated if we don't poo as much as we used to. Constipation is when you have pain upon trying to pass a movement, or they're very hard and painful to come out. I mean, just to, everybody poos, so we can talk about it. No, if you just go less frequently, it could be because if you're following the protocol, the food that you're eating is actually more valuable and less wasteful. The food you're eating is being put to use. There's literally less waste. So think of the food as more efficient. So there's less waste. So there's less waste. And we know poo is waste. Hey, Kid 108, just logged in. We love you, Casey. Keep them coming. Thank you. I stopped doing YouTube videos for a while. But I'm going to try to do at least some lives and maybe do some. Hey, Karen. Okay, y'all are talking to each other, which is great. I do not eat full-size candy bars. Now, that's not you, is it? Is that you, Stacy? Okay, around Go Keto with Casey Patreon, which is a closed group. I do want to give a shout out to Patreon. Patrons contribute different levels, and I make about 20 video snippets a month there. I think I'm up to 260 snippets, videos. And then we have live streams for patrons only, and video group chat for patrons only, and monthly one-on-ones for patrons only, depending on your level of contribution, and a patron-only forum open to everybody. And we have certain things we say. And I find that if I talk out loud to myself, I had a little incident with peanuts. Peanuts not on the list. And it was a whole long story why we even had peanuts in the house. But I won't go into it. It was not for us, it was for the birds. But anyway, I had to say, I don't eat peanuts. I had to remind myself. I said it out loud. And so one of our friends, patrons, Stacy, she said, I don't eat full-size candy bars. She didn't eat any candy bars. But she had, how many was it, Stacy? Did you have 600 full-size candy bars in your house for Halloween? Because, hey, Babushka. And Babushka writes, yes, figure that out about the poo finally. Yeah, again, we've been told you have to have a bowel movement every day or maybe twice a day or else you're not healthy. And if you're, if you just eat the food we were designed to eat, our bodies know what to do. It's amazing. Our bodies talk to us. Think of the joint pain as our body talking to us. Think of the rising blood sugar as our body talking to us. Rising blood pressure, our body's talking to us. Our increasing waistline, our bodies are talking to us. Our depression, our body's talking to us. Our brain fog, our body's talking to us. By the time you get to coronary, the cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes, your body is shouting at you. Listen to our bodies. Barbo writes, my husband is naturally thin and can eat anything and everything. I cook for him, so it's been a struggle not to eat what he's having, but I'm down 22 pounds in 3 months. I'm hanging in there. Thank you. Congratulations, Barb. Can I tell you, my husband, my good-looking, lovely mate, naturally thin as well, never had a weight issue. He started eating this way about 6 months after I did because he saw how much better I felt, how much more energy I had. And he also wanted it for cycling performance, cyclist. And there's a growing body of endurance athletes who are following this because they found carb loading was incorrect. Hello from California. Hey, vintage girls. Vintage girls, guess what? There's an O2 Fitness going up about 1.5 miles from me. Huge structure going up, not yet completed. When I first started doing YouTube videos and doing live streams, vintage girls from O2 Fitness in historic Wilmington would give me a shout out. So I give a shout out back to them. Hi, Debbie. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to try to continue to do some free content. I will say that I spend most of my time on Patreon for patrons because they are very supportive. And so we can thank the patrons for making it possible for me to do anything. Not that I'm the arbiter of all the information, but I do feel privileged to be able to speak to people about my experience and maybe one other person. If one other person gets helped, then that's a lie. Talmud says, she who saves a soul is said to have saved the entire world. Now, I'm not saving souls, and Talmud didn't say she, but I updated it. You know what I mean. Donna Dee writes, Casey, thank you for sharing all your info and experience with keto. You and your videos help me the most. Thank you. Like your no-nonsense approach. It's so simple. There's no reason to complicate it. It's several people from Ohio. Courtney Cox, my thin husband wanted to order a pizza after a long day out of town yesterday. I could tell he was a little miffed that I wouldn't share a pizza with him. He couldn't bring himself to order. The people around us have to get used to the fact that we might not eat the way they do. And some people around us can try to sabotage us. It's not the most attractive thing that they can do. But ultimately, with saboteurs, with people who are non-supportive, it's still ultimately up to us. So I'm glad he didn't order. I'm sorry he was miffed. Of course, you could have scraped the toppings off. I've done that before. Vickie Ortiz writes, me too. Got to be careful with that mashed cauliflower. It's delish. It is delish. So I just have to, some people have other triggers. That I'll tell you, I am not a fan of trying to make fake baked goods to mimic the food that got us here in the first place. I feel pretty strongly about that for me. It's just not a road I want to go down. Plus, it gives food too much power. Best-selling t-shirt I did last year. Food is not the boss of me. And that's very empowering, particularly when you feel like you've been kind of victimized by food for years. Okay. Sheila D writes, all I know is when I do keto, I feel good. But when I don't, my joints hurt and I feel poorly. And it's almost immediate, isn't it, Sheila? I hear this all the time. It's almost overnight, if not faster. This tells us a lot. Courtney writes, I think later in the process, I'll have the discipline to scrape off the pizza toppings. You're wise to not put yourself in a position where you may strumble. Another thing we say around Go Keto with Casey. One morning on a snippet, I was trying to say struggle and stumble, and I hadn't had enough coffee yet, and it came out strumble. So we call that a strumble now. Hey, Keto Sisters. I love you, Casey. You've been a big inspiration as I'm approaching 50 years. Keto has been a dream lifestyle to my health, down 45 pounds from August 1st. Isn't it amazing? It is like a dream come true. You say, a lot of people get to say, this can't be happening. It can't be this easy. And some people get irritated. You mean it was this easy all this time and no one told me about it? They get really upset. I got a little upset, but I moved on because whoever I am right now, all my past experiences led to this moment, and I'm okay with who I am right now. Annette Handlin writes, I thought it was dairy that bloated me. Since keto, I've learned it's carbs that bloat me. I know. A lot of people they think that they're dairy intolerant or lactose intolerant. They start burning fat for fuel instead of sugar, and it's fine. Janet Adams, do I ever eat almond flour? Nope, I don't. I make almond cookies for my husband, and he limits those to 2 a night. But I grind the almonds myself, and they're tiny little cookies, and he has them with coffee at night. I don't. Thank you for the nice comments. And Keto Sister says, I know, right? Been so misled. Zane writes, I get it when eating bad now. Yeah, it's just. Oh, Babushka writes, I started looking around the room because I heard something ticking, and that was just your clock. Yes, my keto cuckoo, which I have a grandmother clock and a cuckoo clock that was gifted to us from the parents of a German exchange student that we ended up inheriting from our crazy former next door neighbors, many years ago. And so I have a Black Forest cuckoo clock, but everything in my life is a long story. It doesn't have a minute hand. It has only an hour hand. And of course it gets off and you have to adjust the pendulum. And some people are bothered by the sound of the ticking, but it's part of my life. And I like it. And my husband's been traveling for 2 weeks and won't be back until Thanksgiving Day. And I like the sounds, particularly in the middle of the night. I like to hear the clocks going. Nana Rhonda, is it normal to take almost 11 months to lose 45 pounds when I had about 100 to lose? Honey, can I tell you the first year I lost 47 pounds? And I am 115 and a half pounds off my highest. Yes, perfectly normal. It's the people losing 10 pounds a month, month after month, that are the exceptions. No, I lost 47 pounds the first year. And then it took, over the course of the next 2 years, I lost the next 50 pounds. Gradual loser, thrilled with it. Didn't bother me a bit. Yay, Robin is down 10 pounds and feels amazing. The feeling amazing happens before much of the weight loss happens. It's so fantastic. Okay, Elaine Walker writes, forget to mention that 2 months into keto, had my regular checkup. My doctor was very pleased and even reduced some of my medications. That is the big buried story here. People coming off of not just 1 or 2 medications, but loads of them. And I think I saw somewhere up there, someone mentioned Marie. Is Marie here? Because I love to tell the story of Marie, who came to the Go Keto with Casey Roadshow in Portland in September. She and her dishy son, Walter. Marie's 93 years old and gave up sugar at age 90. So don't tell Marie that you can't change your ways because you've been eating this way your whole life. Marie's 93 and is on 0 medications. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Oh, MKD says 16 months on keto, started after watching all of your videos. My whole family joined me 8 months ago. That's fantastic when families do this together. That's fantastic. Michelle Austin, you are my hero and inspiration. Oh, I'm not going to read out loud the very complimentary comments. It's makes me uncomfortable. Are the Durham Hilton support group meetings still happening? They are. I no longer moderate those. Frankly, I was invited to leave, not by Dr. Westman, but by the company that is just decided to make this a vehicle for their company. So I no longer attend them, but they are still happening, and there's a lot of good information. They're still free. And tell Dr. Westman, I say, hey, I miss doing them. Do I ever get tempted to eat bread, potatoes, etc.? No, I don't. You know, I don't. Once something is out of your life, it's in your past. If you broke up with a boyfriend from college, you know, it would be very rare that you want to pick up the phone and call him 20 years later. You just out of sight, out of mind. No. Zane asks, Casey, I hate the aftertaste of stevia. Do you use it? No, my husband and I both tried it. We didn't like it either. We found there to be an aftertaste. We use Splenda. And I get all kinds of grief about that, but that's okay. Yeah, Casey, I'm glad you told how weight loss can be on keto. I'm just a little older than you, and you made me feel better about my slow weight loss. We don't call it slow around Go Keto with Casey. We call it gradual or normal because that's what it is. Hey, Bumblebee Sees writes, hello, Casey. I just started keto, down 10 pounds. No cravings for carbs or sugar. It goes away very quickly. Now, let me tell you something. If you do have a craving, cravings are not fatal. You can survive a craving. We do have control of raising our hand to our mouth. Cravings will pass. A lot of people use a trick if they have a craving for sweet. They do something very salty and acidic. Pickle juice. Some people will just drink pickle juice to get rid of a sweet craving. Hey, Vicky. Gretchen asks, when is your birthday? Are you born in November? No, I'm not. Why do you ask? Okay, Rice Art, no, I can't help you with your diarrhea. I cannot help you with that. If you are using MCT oil or a lot of coconut oil or certain formulations of magnesium, that can be you can get tummy upset from that. I mean, intestinal things going on. Lisa, how do you deal with food pushers in your family at the holidays? Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. Now, I don't have food pushers in my family. I've got 3 grown children. They're all married. We get together. Everyone does their own thing. It's not a big deal. If I have acquaintances who want to make little snide remarks about what I do or don't eat, I don't give a crap. To be really blunt, nobody gets a vote on what I eat. Nobody gets a vote on what we eat. It's nobody's business. Why do they want us to eat food that makes us feel poorly? Maybe it's because it makes them feel self-conscious about what they're eating, and that's their problem. Something with which they have to deal. I think I said on the Facebook Live, I can't remember, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. If they're trying to push food on you that makes you ill and feel bad, are they going to walk around in your skin? Are they going to take your insulin for you? Are they going to lose a foot on your behalf from type 2 diabetes? Are they going to endure the joint pain, the skin rashes, the mental fog, the depression, the weight gain? No, they're not. They're going to feel much better maybe if they're actually pushing food on you and trying to sabotage you. They might feel better about themselves if you're a hot mess. Again, their problem. Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. I'm sorry if that's harsh. Oh, Courtney, thank you. She writes, I'm new on Patreon. Casey's weekday morning pep talks really help. Thank you. The lifting of the mental fog is a wonderful side effect of keto. It really is. It's a thing. Just imagine all the improvements coming off of medications, the lifting of the mental fog, the lifting of some people being chronically depressed. There have been people who've come off of schizophrenia medications only from changing their food. Do we need more proof that carbs, and it doesn't matter what form the carbohydrate comes in, as far as your liver is concerned, if you eat over about 20 grams of carbs a day, and it can vary depending on your gender, your age, or whatever, but 20 grams is pretty much going to work for everyone. It doesn't matter whether it comes in the form of a bran muffin, a ho-ho, a giant orange, Ezekiel bread, corn on the cob. It all comes out as simple sugar. It's all sugar. Just imagine, just think of sugar as just an incendiary device. It's a flamethrower for your body, and it impacts everything literally from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Alzheimer's is in some circles being referred to as type 3 diabetes. Think about it. It's just food. Why not corn without the cob? Okay, Rice Throw, I'm not sure what that question is supposed to be about. Corn is not only not a vegetable, it's a grass for one thing, but it's not on the list, and it's very high in sugar. And you don't eat the cob. At least I don't. Okay, Vicky writes, I don't understand total carb versus net carb. Net carb, my opinion, kind of a made-up thing, probably by the food manufacturers who wanted a way to continue to sell their products. And over the years, as there have been low-carb times that have waxed and waned, they want to sell their products and be able to say, oh, they're lower carb because they're net carbs. The formula is supposed to be take the total carbs, subtract the total fiber, and the thinking or the story is, the fiber will not be absorbed in the system and will pass through. Not good science on that. Not good science that all fiber is treated the same by all bodies. Do what you want to do. Do what works for you. But eating net carbs, which is total carbs minus fiber, is really just eating more carbs. And some people can tolerate more carbohydrate. I tolerate much less carbohydrate. And I don't do anything with the sugar alcohol. So net carbs, I mean, I just don't. I just look at total carbs. But do what you want to do. Nobody gets a vote on what you eat. Don't listen to a talking head. Listen to yourself. I'm a talking head. I can only share my understanding of the protocol and how it worked for me. Leanne writes, a friend of mine drinks cans of Coke every day and is often sad. How do I get him to stop? You don't. You might be able to lead by example. You might simply, without talking to him about his situation, say in front of him, maybe not even to him, but where he can hear when you're talking to someone else, how much better you feel and how much healthier you are and how much better your numbers are. Hey, Rose. Yeah, and I don't know about the net carbs comes from Atkins. Probably. He was a businessman. And keep in mind that research has changed. There was almost no research on this when Dr. Atkins first started. No, I don't take apple cider vinegar. Again, not great science explaining that apple cider vinegar would do anything. Our body knows how to adjust its internal chemistry pretty well if we just eat the food we're supposed to eat. Yep. Oh, Vicky, I used to drink 7 cans of Pepsi a day and ended up with type 2 diabetes. Oh, wow. Bumble BC writes, I had inflammation in my hip and now it's gone. Keto works. All right, guys. I'm probably going to lose battery here, and I've been gabbing for a while. Does anyone have, again, I just want to reiterate, actually the topic was the step away from the food porn is my recommendation. If you're trying to get over the fact that food has consumed your life, stop looking at food. The cooking is very simple. It's very straightforward. And zooming in on photos of food and recipe after recipe. You know, Casey is a lazy cook, and cast iron skillet and some reserved bacon fat and a fatty source of protein and maybe a handful of non-starchy vegetables thrown in that same skillet is about it for us. You do what you want to do. But how about we step away from the food and step into our lives? Freedom from thoughts of food is one of the greatest things about this, particularly for those of us who felt trapped in our bodies and whose bodies became that way because of food. Karen, nobody gets a vote on what I eat. It's a fact, Jack. And why would they think they should? Who gets a vote on how you decorate your living room? Who gets a vote on how many times a week you do or don't go to church? Who gets a vote on your choice of toothpaste? Nobody. It's your life. It's a fact, Jack. Tracy Johnson writes, transitioning to maintenance, any advice you keep on doing? What you doing? My husband is eating the same. He had about 18 or 20 pounds to lose after he turned 50. He started this between 8:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. the next morning after he cut out the carbs. He was at his goal weight. He has not changed the way he eats. I have not changed the way I eat. I didn't and I won't incrementally put in carbs back in. If I need more energy and I've consumed my body has no more body fat, I have more that I could stand to lose, then if someone is very, very lean, has no more body fat that they need to lose, but their energy requires it, that's when you would take in some dietary fat. So a little bit extra, not too much. Okay, Donna, you have a great day as well. Thank you. I will try to continue the YouTube lives every now and again. I do appreciate it. Thank you to patrons who make this possible. Thank you to Super Chat, which is a thing here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And and check out, if you are interested, we're having the Go Keto with Casey cruise, which is really just a small group of us on a cruise in the Western Caribbean in late March. There are some folks looking for cabin mates to help defray the cost. Go to my blog, caseydurango.com. Make sure to contact Lisa at Coastline Travel to see about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nothing, we're not joined at the hip. We're going to have a couple of seminars when we have days at sea, and the rest of the time we're going to be having a good time. And what happens on board stays on board. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry about the snafu at the beginning. I don't know what the heck happened. Talk to you later.